Hi everyone, I'm Paul J. Bennett, Canadian fantasy author.
And I'm Carol. Welcome to our live stream. I just want to congratulate Paul on the release of Victory of the Crown.
Yes, Victory of the Crown went live today. Here we have a copy of the cover here.
Well, not quite a copy. It's a tablet. Our paperbacks haven't come in yet, but anybody who pre-ordered the ebook, whether from our website or anywhere else, you should have it, and it's ready for you to read.
Yes.
So I want to say that I've been working alongside with you for 10 years now as you created this series, and now it's done. What an accomplishment.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. So Heir to the Crown was the very first series that I began.
Yes.
And then in between that and now, I also did two other series that I completed.
Oh, that's incredible.
So this is my third complete series.
So it's finally here, Victory of the Crown, 10 years in the making.
Yep.
Is it like a relief?
It is, but on the other hand, it's like I'm kind of the characters are done. I've done with the characters. I don't
Are
know
you
what
though?
else
Are you done with the characters?
Well, the main storyline for the characters has
Yes.
certainly ended. That's not to say they might not make a cameo at some point in a future story, but at present, I don't have plans for any of that kind of stuff.
Well, today I'd really like to talk about how this story comes to an end and what it took to get here in creating a 15 book. But wait, it's not 15 books, really, is it?
No, it's more than 15 books.
It's a 21 book series because you have your side stories. I think you've got one sitting there, Mercerian Tales.
Yes, so Mercerian Tales, these are what we call the 0.5 books, and they're not necessary to read if you want to follow the main storyline, but you can see on the spine it says 6.5 in this particular case. We're a little out of focus because it's having a hard time focusing on the spine.
It's like us, it's old. No, it's not old, but
they tell side stories, so they give you a bit more background information. They're not necessarily required reading if you want to read the rest of the series. They just add more depth to the characters.
Let's get into talking about Victory of the Crown and the moments along the way that shaped the making of it. Well, actually, before we talk about that, before we jump in, we have something special going on, don't we? And it's hidden behind Victory of the Crown.
We do. So we actually have a whole bunch of ebooks that you can get for free.
Yeah, don't knock your water.
Yeah, so I'm being careful not to do that.
So if you're new to the channel or new to Paul's writing, he has a special for you. He's going to come bring it up and show you. Now, none of these are free in paperback, but all 9 of these books, the first 9 books in the series, are free in ebook format. And where can they get them, Paul?
At pauljbennettauthor.com. You'll notice it goes 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 4, 4.5, 5, 6, 6.5. So you're getting 3 of those sides.
Can you turn them sideways to make it easier?
That's a little difficult to do.
I don't know whether that's...
Well, I mean, the titles were the right way up there, but here you go. This is what they look like on the bookshelf.
1, 2, 3. All right.
There you go.
So you can download those all free off pauljbennettauthor.com.
Yep.
There. Paul's going to struggle to put them back. Okay.
Yeah, now I got to put them back without knocking stuff over. I got my water.
I've watched you writing these books. I've actually edited all these books.
Yep.
And I think there's some questions that people might have for you. So anybody watching, if you have some questions, please drop them in for us and I will ask them of Paul. But I have some questions I'd like to ask you, Paul. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Well, actually, we've got a quick one from Strawn. He says, how many books do you have? I think, how many books have you written? You can start with that.
So the Victory of the Crown was book 37. I've actually written 38 because we have one that's in the later stages of editing.
Yes.
And I'm already halfway through the next book.
Oh my gosh, do you ever stop?
No.
No. Okay. Back to Victory in the Crown and the Heir to the Crown series, which is right behind you. If people want to see it, you duck your head a little. Oh no, they can see it pretty well.
Okay.
So what is interesting about that is you've been in this world for 10 years. Does it feel like the ending you imagined it would be when you first started 10 years ago? Or did it evolve into something a little bit different?
So I didn't envisage a 15-book series until I got to about book 3, I think it was.
So that'd be Heart of the Crown.
Heart of the Crown, yeah. I knew I had an overall idea for a larger story.
But never the grand trilogy that you created.
Right. That's
Okay.
about, so it was about book, I think I
Yeah.
was in the middle of book 3 when it kind of came to me that, yeah, I got this idea. So like the first 5 books in the series deal with the coming to power of a young queen. The next 5 books, which is 11 to 15, deal with her trying to cement her rule, if you like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
dealing with all kinds of problems. And then the big epic part is 16 or 16
11 through 15.
11 to 15,
Yeah.
which deals with the big cataclysmic war that engulfs the entire continent, pretty much.
Oh.
And that brings in characters from my other 2 series as well.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that later. Karen just wants you to know that she loves your books.
Well, thank you. I'm glad
You love your
to
books
hear
too.
that too. I love my books too.
It's funny, Karen. He reads his books more than he reads anybody else's now. He has a lot of favorite authors,
Yeah.
but he reads his own books for pleasure, even though he wrote the story and he knows what's going to happen. Do you ever surprise yourself? Do you forget little tidbits?
Sometimes. So I was in the habit of whenever I would be getting ready to start the next book, like let's say I was starting book 12, I would
Yeah.
go back and reread book 11.
Yes.
Just to kind of,
Yeah.
because not many people know this, but I'll write one series, one book, second series, a book, third series, a book, go back to the first series in a book, and so on. So for me, it could have been up to a year or half, 9 months or whatever, since I've written that last book. So I like to read over just to remind me of little details.
That's your third series you finished. So you finished that series, you finished this series, which is Power Sending, finished this series, which is The Frozen Flame.
Yep.
You've started another series, Cozy Fantasy, and you have another series you're thinking of starting. And then you have your Cyric, which is like the black sheep of the family we don't talk about. So that's actually 6 series.
Yeah.
Now that you're going to have just 2 on the go and maybe a few more Cyrics, are you going to write one in one and one in the other? Or are you going to switch it up a little bit?
So I haven't made that decision yet. I already know what I want to get accomplished this year. I'm writing my second cozy. I might do a third cozy and then begin my next series, or I might do.
But we still get Duality of Magic this year.
Oh yes,
You
for
promised
sure.
me.
Yeah.
So it means you have to start writing it by no later than July, so that I can edit it to get it out this year, because I need time to edit.
Yep.
Okay.
I think I'll probably jump in and do that before I do my third cozy, but
we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right. So let's go back to Victory of the Crown. So I remember parts of the story shifting over time, like characters doing different things than you originally envisioned, and different than what it was based on, the campaign it was based on. How much of the ending stayed the same from when you first started? Tough question.
It is a tough question. So the epic war that takes place in the last 5 books, so well, technically the last 3 books.
Yes, very epic.
Because there's setup and everything.
Yes.
That's been planned for a long time, and that the basic facts of that haven't changed. What changes the way I decided in the final book to focus more on the actions of individual characters and tell their stories and make it a bit more engaging and not just one big battle campaign.
I would say that kind of happened in book 13 and 14. I found it for me a little battle heavy, because I'm not a big battle fan. Paul loves battles. If we were to turn the camera over, you'd see all sorts of historical fiction over there. I'm not really into it. So I'd say those were probably my least favorite of the series.
Yeah.
And so you listened to me saying that, and you wrote your outline for Victory.
Yep.
And then you completely changed it, didn't you?
I did, yes.
And what did you change about it without giving away spoilers?
Well, it's hard to describe without giving away spoilers, but I will say it concentrates. Basically, you've got multiple storylines going at the same time. So you occasionally come back to the troops that are marching, but in between that, you've got basically 2 other main stories that, yes, they have to do something with the war, but they're taking place on a more personal level with some of those characters.
All right. Now, one second here. I just want to pop something into our TikTok to let people know. One second here. I'm going to pop that in there so you can see that. Now, I'm as you can see, I'm managing the behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, so that you can see me as I talk. But I want to ask you, at what point did it really sink in that this was the final book? Because I mean, I remember book like 5 years ago, I think you were on books 8 or 9. So I know that we've slowed down a little bit.
Yep.
Because it's harder to write the more we get in there. But when did it sink in that this was the final book?
I think when I'd already had the outline. Well, my original outline, ended up changing it, of course. My original outline was done, and I sat down to begin actually writing it. And I think that's the point at which, I looked at my outline and I went, this is the last book in the series. We've got to, I got to make it better. It's got to appeal to a wider audience, because there's different aspects of the characters that we want to kind of tie up and so on.
Yeah.
And so that was important. And that's why I ended up rewriting the outline.
Well, I must say, I love Victory of the Crown. It's up there in my favorites, and it's because of the little personal interactions. It is so reminiscent of Servant of the Crown, of coziness. Even though there's a big war and there's lots of blood and there's death scenes, you have those moments where it's just one character or another, and it's almost like you're taking it out of the war and making it so personal. How did you make that happen?
I mean, for me, there's always been a focus on the characters, and really ultimately it's all these characters you've grown up with as they develop throughout the 15 books, and how their decisions and choices have shaped the finale, really.
And we're talking about Victor the Crown. You can't actually see the book, so maybe Paul can show you. So
Am I on screen?
You are, but you need to tilt down.
Hey, a little bit of glare from the lights otherwise.
We want to, if you're just joining us, we want to let you know that in honor of Victory of the Crown, putting it there, they can't see it, so just to pre-warn you, in honor of Victory of the Crown, we are giving the first 9 books for free. So Servant of the Crown, okay, rattle them off, Paul. No, can you rattle them off?
Well, we've got Servant of the Crown, Sword of the Crown, Tales of the Past, Heart of the Crown, Shadow of the Crown, Call of Magic. Call of Magic's one of my favorite side stories too. And then
Fate of the Crown.
Fate of the Crown.
Burden of the Crown.
And Burden of the Crown.
And Making of a Man.
Making of a Man.
So all those ebooks you can get free at
pauljbennettauthor.com.
And then we've got someone asking a question there. And it says, do you find yourself writing short stories? They have a standalone they're writing and a series they're outlining, but they get caught by shiny new short stories all the time.
To be honest, I've never been one for writing short stories. My history is of being a game master for, dare I say it, over 50 years. And creating campaigns with long and relatively complex storylines. So for me, I don't tend to think in terms of short stories. Having said that, Stories of the Past is a bunch of short stories all tied together, but a lot of those were backgrounds that were they didn't fit into the general narrative of the books in question. So I had to
just keep talking, ignore me.
So I had to take them out in order to
will that work?
Oh, I see. Yes, we're going to put it on display. There we go.
Can they see it?
Well, it shows up. I don't know if they can read it.
I don't know if you can read
Depends how big the screen is.
Yeah, I guess. Woo! I don't want to break the expensive tablet.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not going to work. I tried. Folks, I really tried. All right, just hang on to that so they know what we're talking about. Don't touch it, though. No, just put it on your lap. All right, sorry about that hindsight. I thought that was kind of funny. All right, so we'll get back to asking you questions about Victory of the Crown, because today is release day of Victory of the Crown. This is book 15 in the Heir of the Crown series. It's the finale, the final book.
With a bit of a twist at the end, too.
Is everything wrapped up?
So not every character gets, I didn't wrap up everything for every character because there are too many characters. I want to avoid that trap that you run into.
Scene after scene after scene.
Yeah,
after scene.
exactly. And it felt a bit disingenuous to sort of just put everyone in a room together just for the sake of naming off all the people.
And it would have taken 20 pages to name.
But what I
off all
did
the
do
people.
is I wrapped it up by, there is an epilogue, which pulls it all the way back to Servant of the Crown.
Yes. No more than that. No spoilers.
Yeah.
We
won't
didn't
give
want to
any
give spoilers. So now we have lived with these characters for so long.
Yeah.
And it's not just the 10 years you've been writing them, is it?
No, so these, well, some of the characters are new, but a lot of the characters are based on characters in a role-playing game that I ran. And that's where they originate. So really, they go back another, what, 10 years?
Not 10.
Prior.
So we started playing the game 15 years ago. We played for 5 years and then you started writing about it and then we played for a year or two more.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true, but yes, okay, I guess that's true. Some of the secondary characters, though, are based on characters from previous campaigns. So it goes out some.
Yeah, some of it
even
does.
farther.
It isn't just those. All right.
Yeah.
So because these characters are more than 10 years old, what was it actually like for you to let them go? Like, you didn't let them go in this series, in the Frozen Flame series, because you're going to write a second series afterwards, The Duality of
correct.
Magic.
Yep.
And you didn't let the characters go in Power Ascending series because you brought them back in the Heir to the Crown series and they're in this book.
And the Power Ascending characters are also.
That's it said Power Ascending.
Yeah.
You mean the
No,
Frozen
I mean the
Flame.
Frozen Flame
Yeah.
also, yes.
So, but you're done with Heir to the Crown.
Yes.
Anna, that's it, done. Gerald, done.
Yep, that's right.
How does that feel?
Strange. I don't know if it's sunk in yet. It won't really sink in until, well, I mean, I keep myself pretty busy writing, so
Yeah.
it's interesting because I'm writing the cozy fantasy, which is in the same world, and there are still references to characters
from the series. Well, now that's interesting. In the A Drop in the Bucket, which is part of the Bucket List series,
Yep,
the characters starring in that came from the Heir to the Crown series.
That's correct. We won't say who just yet.
We can't say
but
who? Why can't? It's not a spoiler. It's a goblin.
Sure, it's a goblin wolf rider.
There we go. We'll leave it at that.
And then a whole bunch of new characters.
Yeah, a whole bunch of new characters.
But it's a cozy fantasy, so it's a very different feel from this series. This is epic fantasy.
Yeah. So if you have any questions as we go along, please put them up there. We'd love to hear it. We'd also like to know if anybody has started reading Victory of the Crown. We know that over 1,000 people got it on release day.
Yep.
So we'd be curious to know how far you've gotten in reading it if you're watching this. But we're talking about bringing in characters from other series.
Yep.
What made you decide, as you're writing these 3 series, that you wanted the other 2 series to have the characters come in here?
Well, I already knew I wanted to do that.
Yeah. But what made you?
So the concept was, you know, when you're writing epic fantasy, especially, you want a big bad. You know, think Lord of the Rings.
You had more than one big bad, though.
But I mean, big. Like, in the earlier books, Heir to the Crown, it's a threat to the kingdom.
Yes.
In this one, it's a threat to the entire world.
It's existential, almost.
Yeah. And so the concept was the characters from Heir to the Crown become important in winning this final battle, but they can't do it alone. And pulling these characters from these other 2 series kind of ties things together nicely because everyone's where they're supposed to be, and it's only this confluence of all of them that allow them to be victorious.
And that's a central theme.
Yeah.
That everybody is where they're supposed to be when they need to be. It's not fate, but is it interference from somebody?
Well, yeah. I mean, you can look at it either way, and you can read it either way too, which is kind of interesting. I did that. I kind of wanted it to go that way.
Did that on purpose.
Yes.
Now, from editing your books, I know there were a lot of moving pieces to bring together in this final book. What was the hardest part to bring together?
The timeline. So, because I developed these multiple, so what happened was there are like 4 basic lines.
5 almost.
Almost 5, but 4 main ones.
Yeah.
And what I did was, instead of flipping back and forth between the way they show up in the book, I would write one complete storyline.
Yes.
with however many chapters that happens to be.
Yeah.
And then I'd write the other one. And then I had like I did 3 of them. And then the 4th one was as I was putting it together.
It came to you, yeah.
But that was the hard part,
Yeah.
juggling.
Yeah.
And we had to take a little bit of creative liberty because at least one of the stories takes place over, there's a lead up, and then the stuff that the dwarves go through is in a relatively short period of time.
Yes.
But I didn't want to take like a big chunk of the story in the middle
Yes.
and have it just be this, something you're taking out of the rest of it.
And same with the Temple Fleet.
Yeah, the Temple Fleet is kind of in the same boat. The same boat.
Oh, high five! High five! Well done.
So,
well done.
Yeah, they have an interesting story as well.
Yeah.
And it's not just a story of fighting; it's a story of exploration, in a sense, and the things they discover and go through. And there's some moral dilemmas that they have.
All your books have moral stories. We won't go into that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of strange how some of it mimics real life, and some of it you started writing 10 years ago and now is mimicking real life, which is a little bit scary in some ways.
Yeah, I got to be careful. I won't write any world-ending stories.
No, because you seem to be predicting the future there.
Yeah.
But now, with all that was building towards Victory of the Crown, which we just released today.
Yep.
Let's offer people, if you just joined us and you haven't tried Heir to the Crown yet, we think you should give it a try because the first 9 books are free.
That's right. Now, out of that, 3 of those are side stories. So you've got
story
main books.
Yes, and
books 1 to 6,
and 3 side
and
books.
3 side stories.
Yeah, so you can grab those at pauljbennettauthor.com, and we've tagged it on on our Restream app, and I put it into our TikTok app, so you can grab those at any time.
Yep, and those are obviously electronic versions of the books.
Now, if you're looking for the paperback version of Victory of the Crown, that's available online right now at Amazon, and we will have signed copies that will be going out on April 2nd. And when you get a signed book, a pop-up here, you actually get a whole bunch of stuff with it. So we have some little cards here. We call these creature cards. Fishy, fishy, fishy. Oh, fishy goes this way. No, fishy, fishy, fishy.
Yeah, it's weird
fishy.
when you're looking at the camera.
Yes. So we have a griffin. We include that when by sign books.
We try to include the cards that are applicable to the books that are ordered.
And this is a pencil case or a dice bag. And then we have a map, which you would get 2 maps because we give you Merceria and Eiddenwerthe. I keep going to
once
the wrong
again,
side.
depending on which books you're ordering.
Thank you card, because we're so thankful for you. And then we have a bookmark with a tassel. Oh, but wait, Paul, there's more in here. Then we have a pencil. Let me see if you can read this. Let the adventure begin. And a coaster because you need a cup of tea. And then if you're hungry,
you could use another beverage on that coaster as well.
Yes, we have recipe cards. So you can have something, and it comes in a pretty box, all packaged up.
And they are recipe cards that actually work.
Yes, I was going to say play tested all the recipe cards, but in fact, it is not play testing, it is cooking.
Yes, they've all been tested. I mean, most of them are recipes you've
used. So what is Mercerian pudding?
Mercerian pudding is Yorkshire pudding.
Shh.
But don't tell
anybody.
So next time you have friends over and you make Yorkshires, tell them you're having Mercerian
pudding, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've seen this story from the inside for the past 10 years, from when it started, but actually add 5 more years to it because it was based on a role-playing campaign.
Right. Yep.
What do you think your readers are going to feel when they read it?
I think certainly when I was writing it's the final battle is probably the most epic battle I've done.
It was hard to edit because there were so many moving pieces. But what's something different that we do with our battles?
Well, I mapped them out. So I just use Visio, and I have like a hex map, and I have counters I've made up so I can visualize how the battle is going.
What do we do for the reader so that they can visualize?
Oh, we include maps in the book. Yeah, and we put them in like the chapter heading.
In the chapter heading. So when you go to read that chapter, and Paul says they come from the north, they come from the south, they go through the trees. He sets the troops up so that you can see it and you're not wondering where everybody is. Not every battle, because there's too many battles,
Yeah.
and it would end up being a lot of maps.
I mean, the
But
final battle
yeah.
is, well, there's 2 final battles over 4 chapters.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's more than 2. There's a sea battle.
Oh, I mean, no, I mean, I'm just saying the final battle,
Yes.
the 2 are tied together very closely,
Yeah.
which is why
Yeah.
there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
But yes, there's an epic sea battle.
Yeah.
As well, and there's some other smaller skirmishes and such, and raids and things like that in it. But I think more interesting is some of the, I guess you call them secondary plot lines.
Yes.
So we already mentioned the Temple Fleet, and I'll tease a little thing that's about this thing that the dwarves get up to.
Yes, they get up to some. There's a legend that
Yep.
they look into.
And that was referenced from way back earlier in the series.
So how far back?
You know, I looked up the book, but I can't remember. It would have been somewhere between book 6 and 10 because it was during the Norland campaign.
Okay.
So I don't remember exactly. I think it's 7 or 8.
Yeah. So Christian wants to know, they just finished The Talisman by Steve King and loved it. Are any of your books as crazy as that? Unfortunately,
I haven't read that one.
we haven't read that one. So maybe someone who's read Paul's books. Paul's books. So when we're looking at the Heir to the Crown series, it starts out slow, almost cozy fantasy. If you play role-playing games, you would say it's almost like a session 0. It sets the characters up, it sets up the world in a way that you feel welcomed into it. It's comfortable, it's an easy read, it doesn't throw you in. If you want to be thrown into fantasy, that's this. The Frozen Flame series throws you into magic right away.
Having said that, it starts with a bang.
Yeah, it does. It does start with a bang. It starts with a battle and death and
more of a skirmish. But it sets the tone for everything.
Yeah, and then it gets kind of cozy. And then Power Sending is more personal journeys with a lot of military in it. There's a lot of battles. And,
it's military fantasy.
But it's still all of your books are about personal journeys, about becoming the person they're meant to be.
Yeah.
Rising to the challenge.
From a writing perspective, you know, I've read tons of books where the main character is the finest swordsman, the finest archer, the best of whatever in the kingdom. I was more interested in, like, how did these people get there?
Yeah, and that's what your books are.
There's a very funny scene. The main character in the beginning is a character named Gerald. He's this old soldier. He's kind of washed up. He's been injured. Magic healing is not very common. Yeah. And it's really
keep talking.
The big story arc is his journey, but also other people who are around him and around the young girl that he becomes a father figure to. For me, that was the interesting part. How do they get to that point? And there's a scene I really enjoyed writing later in the series. I think it was book 10, where Gerald, he's been fighting his entire life. He meets this, we'll just call him a bad guy, and the bad guy sees him, and the bad guy doesn't realize who he is. Yeah. And this bad guy is like a rich noble, and he's had the finest fencing instructors, and he thinks he's fantastic with a sword. Gerald wears this battered old chainmail, and his sword looks like it's been dented and nicked badly from use.
Sorry.
The fight, let's just say, is very short.
Reminiscent of what?
Kind of like Indiana Jones, where he has the whip scene with the guy with the sword, or he shoots the guy, right?
Sorry about that. I realized that our studio cameras were turned off. Our studio lighting was off, so I was just fixing that.
So that was fun.
Whoops. Aaron wants to know, as an aspiring writer, how can I lay a clear path for myself to achieve my dream? You have an answer and I have an answer. You go first.
Sure. I think, now I don't know if that means you've started writing or you just want to write or whatever, but I think you have to find what works best for you. And when I'm talking about writing here, I'm talking about whether or not you're writing by the seat of your pants and just making it up as you write, or whether you outline it, or any blend of in between, right? Some people outline every single thing possible before they write.
So some people have half the book written so that when they're writing, they already have the whole story and they're just sort of expanding upon their
Yeah,
line.
and we've met authors who don't like doing that. They
Yeah.
just write from the seat of their pants. They don't necessarily know how the book is going to end. For me, that didn't work
Yeah.
for my purposes, because I tried that several times and I never knew where the story was going to go. So
Yeah.
halfway through what was sounding like a pretty decent book, and then it was like, what am I doing now? I don't know. So you kind of have to do some research and find out what are the different methods you can use, and what do you think will work best for you. And don't be afraid to try a couple of different techniques till you find one that works for you. I think that's the key there.
All right. Cancel. Hit the wrong thing. I almost ended the stream by accident. My apologies. I'm just going to put another comment up there. So as we're sitting here, we just want to remind you, if you have a question, because we kind of know what we're talking about, what we want to talk about today. But if you have a question, please feel free to ask us. Now, we're going back to talking about Victory the Crown.
Yes.
Do you have, oops, my apologies. I just don't know where I am with question-wise. Now that the story's finished,
Yeah.
does it feel finished to you, or is there part of you that still wants to write more?
No, I think for me, the story is complete. I think if this was a series, this would be a good ending that I came up with.
Yeah.
Uh, there's going to be people that are disappointed that their favorite character
doesn't have their moment.
doesn't have their moment. The problem is, of course, when you have a series that is so many books, you cannot include everybody.
No.
And if you do try to cram everybody in, it's going to feel clunky. It's going to
Yes.
feel uncomfortable. And then
Yeah.
you kind of, you want to finish on a good note,
You want it to
satisfied.
feel finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it does that.
Well, we've talked a lot about Victory, so it's probably the best time for us to pop in and just remind you, if you're new to the series, you're new to Paul's writing, or you've read a couple books and you want to keep going, you can get the first 9 books in the Heir to the Crown series for free. Where?
At pauljbennetauthor.com.
Okay. Awesome. So we've been talking a lot about how this series came together and how it finally ends.
Yep.
But I've watched a lot of the ideas for these series show up for you over the years, and sometimes they come out of nowhere. So I'd love to share where they actually come from. I don't think you prepped for that, did you? You didn't get out your binders behind you.
No, I didn't. But so ideas for stories can come from a variety of different sources. A lot of it is inspired by role-playing games that I've run over the years. Sometimes maybe even that I've played in, although mostly from games I've
I
run.
don't think any are ones that you.
Well, sometimes character ideas.
Yeah.
That's about it. But also I get ideas from movies and books and lots of different things.
Well, I'm going to interrupt for a question. Bill Nye, hi. Probably
Not the
not
science
Bill
guy.
Nye, the science guy, but has a question for you. They want to know, how did you get into writing? Did you practice before you started, or did it just sort of come naturally? They have a lot of trouble perfectionism when I write, and that's their big issue.
Right. So I've attempted writing stories in the past several times, and each time I got a little bit further.
Yeah.
But I never really got to the completion stage. And the problem was, as I mentioned, I didn't know where the story was going beyond a certain point. I actually just came across one. I had a story with a dwarf that's walking through a mountain pass and they get attacked.
Yeah.
I just found that recently. And it still reads interesting. I just didn't know where the story was going to go. I had these characters in mind. And I think for me, all of my series, it's about the characters. You have to have interesting characters. You have to have characters that mean something to you as a writer. As to the coming naturally, I don't know about that so much. I've got 50 years of running role-playing games. So that's, a lot of trial and error in a sense from a storytelling perspective.
And I think everyone's different. Like, there are some people who can just sit down and write, and there are other people like you, 40 years of kind of wanting to write a book until you finished a book.
Yeah.
And so it's never too late. don't think that, oh, you can't do this because you're 40 or 50. How old were you when you started your first book?
10 years. Yeah, 55.
I thought I
So I
said
thought you
50.
meant like, you mean my first completed book.
Yes.
So I was thinking like my first book that I tried writing. I don't know how long ago
I was
that
about
was.
30 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
As for perfectionism, I think that that can be a problem. Like you always want everything to sound perfect, and you at some point you have to get on with the writing.
yes.
Some people can obsess over every single sentence.
Yeah.
That comes in the editing stage.
You don't.
I don't.
No.
I write the story, I tell the story. It's
Yeah.
not going to be perfect. That's what editing is for.
That's what I'm here for.
Yes, and then we work on, rewriting scenes. That's a
Yeah.
common.
I think we're more of a writing partnership.
Yeah,
I have to say that because what you write could never be published as is,
that's right. It has to
Yeah.
go through an editing process.
right? And it's not a typical editing process because you don't do the editing. You're just
That's right.
recipient of a clean copy.
Well, you'll make changes. If it's something major, then
Yeah.
we'll sit down together and
Yeah. But I make
talk through it.
tens of thousands of changes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for
So
sure. And
if-
you know my voice, so
yeah, when you're getting your book edited there's a few people here that seem to be interested in writing. You can get a copy back and have to rewrite 30 or 40% of it. And that's just part of the editing process. You're
Yep.
just taking a rough gem because it's still wonderful, but now you're making it shinier and more shaped.
And you have to be, one of the most difficult parts for an author is accepting
I think most
the
difficult
changes.
parts
Well, for
you.
me, yeah. But I mean, it's a lot of work, and it's a different kind of work
Yeah.
to have to like cut things from a story or add more detail. Well, adding more detail usually isn't too much of a problem. It's cutting stuff is harder, I think.
Yeah, that's
It's
saying
because you've invested this time and effort in
well,
scenes that
sometimes you'll write something and I'll say, "Does this have to stay?" And you say, "Well, I like the way it sounds." I understand you like the way it
Yes, yeah,
sounds,
yeah,
but it doesn't add anything to the story and you
yeah,
don't reference it later.
that's right.
And it actually takes the reader out of the story.
Yeah, and that once again, that's why you need an editor. So we're lucky in that we have that partnership.
So we're talking about where your story ideas come from. And a lot of that goes back to your role-playing days. How much did that shape how you build stories?
A lot. And interestingly enough, like as a game master, my style of game mastering is very different than what it used to be.
Yes.
It used to be I would be essentially writing an adventure like a module that you would buy. But we end up with something called Solution 21, which is a term we like to use. Whereas a game master, you have 20 possible things the players can do, and then they do 21, which is something you didn't expect it. So nowadays, when I run a game, I put together, this is the plot, this is what's happening, and then it's more sort of, from a game mastering point of view, it's more free flow from that point.
Yeah.
But at least I understand where things are going so that depending on what the players do, I can decide how the story will evolve. Now, writing is kind of an extension of that.
Okay.
But you have to, in a sense, writing is even trickier because you've now got to decide
how the players
how the player or the characters react.
Yeah, because they are the players. Yeah, they're playing in your sandbox. Well, it's interesting. Charles has the same last name as you. So hi, Charles. Nice last name. At what point did your writing start to feel professional rather than just good, and what changed? I have an opinion on that.
So I wrote Servant of the Crown. I didn't release it right away.
Yeah.
It felt pretty rough.
Yeah.
I wrote Sword of the Crown, went back and rewrote a whole bunch of stuff and added a whole bunch of stuff to Servant.
Yes.
And at that point, it felt like it made more sense. It was good. There was a couple of early issues that we resolved fairly quickly, but I think the first 35 books or some of them had issues with naming and such like that. Naming places. Was it that many? It might have even been less. We changed all the names. We didn't have Merceria and stuff.
I don't know what you mean. You said the first 35 books.
The first books that people ordered, the very
There
first
you
books
go.
that people ordered.
Sales.
Sales. Yeah.
Okay.
Sales.
Sorry. When you say first 35 books, I'm saying no, like the 35th book you've written is pretty good.
Yeah,
So you really had me confused there. Okay, now I understand. Yes. The first 35 sales.
Yes, the first 35 sales. We got some bad feedback.
Yeah.
And it's crushing too, right? Because
Yeah.
you've invested at this point. I'd invested
Yeah.
like a year
Yeah.
in putting this thing together. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, the criticism was valid.
It was very
The
valid.
nice thing is because it was only electronic anyway, we were able to edit it, fix that, and then the book became what it is today.
So, what point do you think it became professional, your writing? Kind of got off topic.
Well, I think once we got to the point where the first book was edited to eliminate those problems, that felt more like a finished product.
I'll be honest, the first book is definitely weaker because it's the first book. We've learned a lot. So I think few books in, Paul got better at writing, I got better at editing. That makes a huge difference.
I think
would we rewrite the first book? No, because that kind of you go on the journey with them. The story's fantastic. Could have been written a bit differently, yes.
Sure, and I think you as a reader grow, or you see the writer grow and mature in their storytelling. You see that in other series as well.
Yeah, I mean that's how that book started, and it's very genuine. It's very good story. There's some maybe punctuation that could be changed, a little bit less telling, a little bit more showing, but I think we've gotten better at that. So I think
I think in the first two books, in like nowadays, I just had to say said so and so, whereas before we had exclaimed or whatever. There was far too many of these descriptive.
I think in the first book, Ashes, there was way too many tags. We had someone say that they just couldn't see, because we have beta readers and we do take what they say, and one of the beta readers couldn't follow the conversation. So we said a lot more than we do now.
Yeah, it's finding a balance is tricky sometimes because you don't want to interfere with the flow of the story.
That's right.
At a certain point, the name tags as we call them, they kind of disappear.
Yeah,
They're
you
just
don't even
there.
know they're there.
But when you've got it's especially difficult if there's like 3 characters in a scene.
Yes, and so when I'm editing, I will, if there's more than about 6 lines of dialogue, I put in a dialogue tag, because I will restart and say, okay, who is talking? If I can't tell who's talking, I know that the reader could be reading this, put the book down and pick it back up and not know who's saying what. And you don't want to have to scan through a whole bunch of dialogue to figure out who's talking. So you put the tags in there because they become invisible to the reader. They don't really see it, but their mind picks up on it.
Yeah.
That's what
unless there's a certain way of speaking, like some characters have a thick accent and it's easier to tell who they are.
Or say lad because they're dwarves.
Yeah.
Come on, lad. Reagan wants to know, what character trope or archetype do you really dislike in other people's work, or maybe one that you find difficult to make likable? So maybe we'll switch that to, what archetypes or character tropes do you really like? We tend to try not to be negative, because what likes.
There are tropes that I like to include. My characters, they're for the most part, it's pretty clear who's the good guys and the bad guys.
Yeah. So you don't like morally gray characters.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the books that have morally gray characters. They're just not what I want to write about. So in that sense, you can tell the good guys from the bad. That doesn't mean everyone has a shiny background necessarily.
No, because there's some redemption arcs.
There is, yeah.
But you like the reluctant hero.
Yeah, reluctant hero, found family is common.
Mentor.
A mentor type figure.
Coming of age is big in all 3 series. They all mature.
Yep. I mean, most of the characters are adults already, but they still mature as individuals.
But Heir of the Crown, Anna is not. It's all about her coming of age. It's all about, in Frozen Flame, even though they're in their 20s, their lives are one way, and then they change and they have to grow into those new lives.
Yeah, they change quite dramatically. Yes.
Yeah. What other tropes? A lot of kingdom building. The whole series is kingdom building.
Yes, I think
and some hidden
part of
prophecies.
like Servant of the Crown, the key part of this is that really the story takes place around the character of Anna,
Yeah.
who's a young girl when the series starts, but it's told from the point of view of everyone around her.
Yes.
Uh, and you can see, well, hopefully you can see when you read the book, or you can read, I guess not see, but it illustrates how
Yeah.
the influence of people around you can have a profound
Yeah.
influence on events and such.
And if you just joined us, we just want to remind you, Paul has released his 37th book today, Victory of the Crown. And in honor of that, you can download the first, turn it this way, turn it more that way, this way. There you go. You can download the first 9 books in the series for free from pauljbennetauthor.com. And you can see a lot of where his ideas, and you can see a lot of these tropes we're talking about in that series.
And the website also has lots of other information. It has copies of maps. It has a bestiary, which
Yeah.
shows some of the
It
creatures
has the
involved.
chronological order of all your books. It
Yep.
has the publishing order of all your books.
Yep.
So it has all the different religions, the different fighting troops.
Yep.
Yeah, and maps. If you like maps, they're all on there. The ones for Victory of the Crown will go up tomorrow. We didn't want to do it before. We didn't want to
Yep.
do
We've
that.
got there's descriptions of all the different races. So even though you
Yes.
might be familiar with things like orcs from other
It
books,
changes.
it's very different.
Yes.
Goblins are probably the most different, I think.
Yeah, well, the goblins in Paul's books have very sharp teeth, and the goblins are born with these sharp teeth. So they're thrown down in a pit, and they live in a pit for 6 months.
Yeah, they just
of their
throw
life.
food and lower
Yeah.
water down.
Because they might eat you, so they can
Yeah.
eat each other. And the survival of the strongest.
Yes.
Only the strong survive is actually their motto. Now, we're talking about where your story ideas come from. And I've seen story ideas hit you at the strangest times. Like you get up in the morning, but these ideas you get, what are they like? Do they usually start with a character, or are they more of a situation?
Usually to me, they can take two forms.
Yeah.
One is a character.
Yes.
I don't know necessarily what inspires the thought of a character. Maybe it's someone I see in a movie.
Yeah.
Or just even sometimes a picture on the internet, like some
Yeah.
artist has done a picture, and I look at that and I go, "Oh, that just."
Because you've used that for some of your characters.
I did actually.
Yeah.
The character of Danica in Power Sending
And Beverly.
and Beverly
Yeah, I
were
remember that.
originally just these. I was looking online for pictures.
Yeah.
So when I ran the game, I was looking for pictures that I could show the players, like this is what this person looks like.
Yeah.
So I just looked for medieval armor, but
Yeah.
I wanted like real looking medieval
Yeah.
armor, not like bikini chainmail or anything.
Yes.
And I found a couple of pictures, and
Yeah.
the one for Beverly was just like, oh look, and the person in the picture had red hair, and it was just like kind of cemented just
Yeah.
the picture made me think of, okay, what would this person's background be? Probably, obviously a noble of some type, and the character
Yeah.
kind of grew from there.
I want to say hi to Christian from Mexico. Our Paul's books are only in English at the moment. We are
Yeah.
looking at possible translations, and Spanish would probably be the first one we do because it's the most one that's asked for.
Yes, it is.
But not at this point.
Yeah, so as an indie publisher, it's a rather high expense for us.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We've certainly talked about it in the past, and we've discussed possibilities. So we're hoping at some point in the future they will be available in other languages.
So we were talking about you've woken up with ideas like in the middle of the night. But what's going on in your head when that happens? Like, are you dreaming about a story and you wake up and remember it, or do you wake up and this idea is there?
No, I'm dreaming about something unusual, and then I remember my dreams. Well, I should qualify that. I remember my dreams if I recall them as soon as I wake up. If I don't, then forget about it.
Yeah.
So if I wake up in the middle of the night with an idea, I'll literally get up and just like go to the bathroom or something, because I want to be able to concentrate on the idea so I don't forget it come morning. I could just go back to sleep, but then the fear is, oh, well, then I'll forget what it was that I came up with.
Now, do you ever grab your phone and put the idea in there? I know
I've done that once or twice. Yeah.
You've gotten up and before you even say good morning, you've gone to the computer and written things down.
I've done that a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know in the Victory, you had an idea that came to you while you were sleeping.
Yes.
And unbeknownst to you, you had already set it up in the prose in the book. Because when I was editing it and I saw all these things pointing towards it, because you told me what the idea was, it's like, well, I would never have known you weren't going to put that there because
Yeah, I
it
think
worked.
yeah. You're talking about the twist at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, I think subconsciously I must have been considering this idea because it answers a lot of questions about stuff that happens earlier in the book, and it's kind of a neat way of tying it all up and explaining how this stuff happened. So it was kind of fun for that.
Now, Christian wants to say thank you because we answered the question about the language. They're going to give it a try. Should they start from the first series of any book? Will be a good entry point. So I would say grab Servant.
Yes, you probably want to start with Servant of the
Crown.
Can
You
see
do it.
that from, can't tell how close that is to the camera. There we go. This is the one you want to start with, which once again you can get for free at pauljbennetauthor.com.
And the next 8. But Christian, grab them all now.
Yep.
Because this is a limited time special.
Yes.
And once it's done, it's done.
Yeah. And so you can read that on your phone or Kindle or Kobo or whatever.
Yeah.
And this one eases you into the world slowly. So it starts off.
It starts pretty brutal. It's a riot.
Yes, but I mean, it doesn't dump you in with like all kinds of magic everywhere. It's a slow introduction to magic.
Yeah, it's slow to fantasy too, because it's more of a medieval world, and you would almost think it was medieval England, but it is not.
Yes. Well, Merceria is based on a UK kind of culture concept. So the names will tend to be English, Irish, some Scottish,
like Winchester.
Yeah, and then
Merceria.
When you go to the other series, Power Sending is very Germanic.
Yes.
With a few exceptions. Yeah. So the main character of Charlene is actually more Calabrian. So that's took some ideas. I wanted it to sound Portuguese actually.
Oh.
So Desandria was just a made up name.
Yeah.
And I put the D in front to be. I came up with this. It's kind of an honorific.
Yes.
Which is explained how she gets that, or rather how her father got that.
Yes.
So yeah, that was inspired by Portugal, and I've never been to Portugal, but we have to go someday.
You want to go to
well, because I read all the Sharp books, and a lot of them take place in Portugal. So always found that fascinating.
I hope you enjoy Servant of the Crown, Christian. It's a good book. So we're going to go back to your ideas.
Yes.
And I'm going to go back to ideas because when Paul's not feeling well, he likes to watch old movies, and sometimes they're old
cheesy
military movies or cheesy movies. I do not join him in that. I go do something else. But you come up with ideas from those.
I do. It's funny. Old movies, a lot of them don't age very well. The stories are very typical of the time period.
And things happen in them that you don't understand, like old phone numbers make no sense.
Things like that. And especially like if it's a clue. I remember reading, like I used to read Ellery Queen books, which are mysteries.
Yes.
And there was this one where the whole thing was based on a phone number, but I had no clue because the phone numbers were in the 40s were nothing like what they are nowadays. So that's kind of a bummer. But and I watch lots of different genres. I like watching war movies, but I'll watch, really cheesy sci-fi movies.
Yes.
I kind of, to be honest, I usually about half watch them if they're really bad. But sometimes you just get a spark of something interesting.
Yes.
Out of them, and that's I kind of like that from a story perspective.
John Douglas wants to know, how does it feel to have written enough to have a stack of books almost as tall as you are?
So this is only one series. So
they can't see that stack.
Yeah, the stack we have of 15 books is about yay high, but if I put the other 2 series in there, it's
but how does it feel? Surreal, or
it is a little surreal because I'm always working on the next thing. So to sort of think back that I've written all these, like that's over what did we say, 3 million words?
We're over 3 million. So if you wanted to do the math, the Heir to the Crown series, 120,000 words on average, and there's 15. So that's 1.2, that's 1.8 million words. And then you have 6 side stories, 50,000 on average. That's 300. So that's 2.1 million just in the Heir to the Crown series. These are about 130, well, 135, but 130 each, and there's 8. So that's
I'm
a
not even
million.
I'm not even going to.
That's a million, and then these are 100,000 each. So you're up to 4 million words now.
Oh, 4 million. There we
You're
go.
4 million.
4 million words.
Yeah. And John says Paul knows him from Twitter. He's actually shared your posts quite frequently.
Oh, well, thank you. Nice to see
/
a familiar
X.
name.
X, yes. So hi, John. Now, back to your ideas, because although we launched Victory of the Crown today, today's release today, we went out to Mandarin, we had lunch with an author friend to celebrate. But when an idea hits you, how do you decide it's actually worthwhile making either into a chapter or a scene in a book or a whole book? What is the determining factor for you?
So sometimes I don't. It depends on the idea. I'll usually ruminate on it for a day or two. I've got lots of ideas that I've scribbled down and never gone back to, like typed. I have some Word documents with story
you don't hand draw, although you do have books around somewhere.
Older ones, yes. But nowadays it's all electronic. Right?
Yes.
So I will scribble, or I will quickly type up. I have, like I said, a couple of documents where these are different ideas in bullet form.
You've never shown those to me.
No. That's my secret stash. I'm sorry.
Other people, when they say secret stash, it's like chips or chocolate or something a little more nefarious. Yours are secret stories because I'm going to write them. No,
but because they're partially formed ideas, right? And probably a lot of them I'll never go back to. But just having them there, if I go back and review, sometimes that becomes a scene in another book.
You've done that, taken the ideas and made them into scenes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not every idea is worthy of an entire book, right?
Well, on that idea, have you ever had an idea that seemed absolutely fantastic, but then it didn't work once you started writing it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We did a whole Cyric story, which I mean I spent what, 2 months writing it?
No, 6 weeks.
Well, including outlining.
It's only 30,000 words.
Yeah, but I put a lot of time into outlining and anyway, whatever. But yeah, and I actually got the thing written.
Yes.
And then it just didn't work. We abandoned it.
I just couldn't. I was editing it, and I kept not being able to edit it because it was just too similar to another Cyric story that it felt like the same story. It
was a murder mystery, and
but it was like not a closed room, but it was, I don't know, it was a murder mystery.
It was a cozy mystery, basically. Yeah. If you think of, Knives Out or one of those kinds of, you've got a bunch of characters and somebody's murdered someone.
Yeah, but it was just too close to the other one because
we already did a Midwinter Murder.
Yeah, and Cyric is all about different murders. Like I really like The Beast of Brunhausen for that.
Yeah, that was a fun one to write.
Yeah, and that kind of think Cyric needs to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's fine.
Maybe we'll edit it and just give it to the people on the newsletter. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel better about editing it later.
Well, I think
Cyric will come back.
I'll probably Cyric will come back. I'll probably cannibalize parts of the story.
Yeah.
Because there's elements in that story I can use elsewhere.
Maybe that's what you need to do. So yes, you've had an idea.
And actually I referenced some of that in Temple General.
Did you?
Yep.
I did not know that. Now, here's an interesting question. And someone asked you a question similar to this. Do you think creativity is something you can build over time, or it's either something people have or don't have?
I think creativity needs to be nurtured.
Yeah.
This is something we did with our kids, right? So in our days, Lego wasn't, you didn't buy a box of Lego and build just this one thing. You bought Lego pieces and built whatever you wanted to.
Yes, I know. We still have that Lego.
We still have a big box of Lego.
Yeah.
Even though our kids are all adults now.
Yeah.
So I think the trick there is you have to nurture your creativity. If you don't do anything creative, I don't think you would remain creative. Creativity doesn't mean necessarily just writing.
Yes.
Some people are creative with making songs or even inventing jokes or cooking.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you need to encourage it, right? You're not going to continue to be creative if you don't do anything.
Yes, you have to foster the creativity.
Yeah.
Now, do ideas come to you the same way now as they did years ago, or has that changed?
I think the ideas I get now for stories are more complete,
Yeah.
more expensive,
Yeah.
because I have the experience of putting together such longer storylines. You know, uh, it's funny because I kind of broke the rules. Like, no one in their right mind would do a 15-book series as their first book,
Yes.
but that's exactly what I did.
But you didn't start out with that.
No, but I knew it was going to be a series.
I think you thought maybe a trilogy or 5 books. You
Yeah,
never.
yeah.
I don't think the first 3 books you knew.
No,
I think it was after Heart of the Crown is when we sat down and said it was going to be 15 books.
yeah,
And then I remember, I think it was after Shadow of the Crown. No, not Shadow. The Burden of the Crown. We sat down and said we need to come up with names for the rest of the books. And
yes.
so we spent a day coming
Oh,
up
yeah.
with names. It
Yeah.
was not easy. You think, oh, of the Crown, that's easy. But we came up with the names, and he actually wrote the story to fit the names.
Yeah. So, which is why we didn't do Toilet of the Crown
No,
or
like I remember Guardian of the
Backroom
Crown.
Meetings of the Crown.
Yeah. God. I remember Guardian of the Crown. You wrote this. You said, I need someone, and that became Aubrey.
Not in Guardian.
Or is that Beverly?
Guardian is Althea and her story.
Yeah.
And then it's
What was I thinking?
Ulrich and his quest to become King of Weldwind. And I can't remember what, there was a third story in there, storyline in there somewhere. I can't remember what it was.
I think, okay, just a minute. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
But why do I think which one's Aubrey's? We're in Aubrey.
Oh, Aubrey is in like book 4 and
No,
5. Book 5, I think it is.
Is it?
So during the war over
Aubrey's Defender. Sorry, that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
I knew there was a book that was Aubrey. I mean, I can't remember all the books you've written, too many. I mean, you've written so many wonderful books. I can't remember them all. Now, I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us. We've come to the end of our time here.
We will be on again tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
But we're going to wrap it up today because we want to go maybe have a little celebration cup of tea for us because today is a really special day for us.
Because we have just released
Victory of the Crown. I'm going to hang on to this.
Okay.
And Victory of the Crown is the 15th book in the Heir to the Crown series.
And final book.
So if you're just finding out about the series now, Paul, what can they get? Let's give some physical representation. The first 9 books are free for a limited time.
Yeah.
That's very important because,
all these you can get at our website, pauljbennettauthor.com, in electronic format.
Yeah, we're not giving away the paper books. Sorry about that.
Yeah, the actual books you would have to
purchase, which you can do. You can purchase them from pauljbennettauthor.com.
And Victory, we will be getting our copies from the printer very shortly. Yeah, they're coming on Tuesday. Yeah. It just took a little bit longer than we expected. We had to, we're stuck we're at the mercy of the post for that. Yeah, at the post office. The post office. Yeah. So we really want to thank everybody for joining us and spending part of your day with us. We'll be back next Thursday. We'll also be back tonight, but next Thursday, we're going to talk about what we've learned after writing a series with 15 books. Well, actually, 21 books. Yep. But we'll explain that. We'll explain that. Or you can join us for another live at 8 Eastern Standard Time today. And we're going to talk about the same 2 subjects, but different questions. Yes. So thank you so much for joining us. And we